Happy New Year everyone. So it's a new year full of promise in the garden. Today I'm heading over to Tony at Simplified Gardening. I haven't been over there for about a year now, I expect, and yeah, so I thought I'd pop over today, have a little coffee with him, we'll have a little look around, and yeah, and then I'll head back here and then we'll head over to the garden and let's just start some of those New Year's jobs. So let's go. So we're here at Tony's. I'm guessing he's on the plot already, but yeah, it's been ages since I've been here. I feel like it's been an age, but it's nice to go and visit other plots, other YouTubers, especially Tony. You know, he's got a really successful channel, and it's always something new that you can see on his site that you can take some inspiration from. So let's go have a look. So this over here, this actually used to be the original plot of Tony's years ago. But yeah, someone else has taken over it now. But Tony's original plot used to be actually on a hillside. And yeah, now is up by here. What are you up to?
Right.
Yeah, yeah? Let's get the kettle on.
Get the kettle on.
Hey, this is new.
Built that out of what was left of
The fruit cage.
Yeah.
Ah,
But as you can see, the storm smashed all the sprouts. I should have staked them, but
yeah.
they weren't coming to a lot anyway.
Oh, looks nice though.
There's still sprouts on it to be harvested. But yeah, absolutely smashed. Good little brassica cage though.
Yeah.
3 of them by here. I just need to clear this area so I can get all that wood chip. See them 3 things full of wood chip. Right, don't get dirty.
Hey, you don't get dirty after you go over 3
I'm on about your jacket.
I am worried about that. Where's it going now?
Back past that polytunnel, that tank,
ABC.
ABC, yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to check this
The only
minimum.
thing about your plot, right, is everything's light. Everything's like built to last, so it's chunky and heavy.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, that's alright. Stuff like this, you need someone to know.
I would have got it up there myself eventually.
Yeah.
But it's just easier when it's 2 people, isn't it? Hey Danny, so we've got all my composting areas here. This is where I'm just storing stuff at the moment. So it's like all the sort of cut-offs from the fruit and things like that. This is just all old squash and things that didn't make the keeping, you know, they turned or whatever. Believe it or not, this is a whole year's worth of grass from a commercial grass cutting company, right? It was 20 van loads, and every time I just fill it up, it'd be up here and it'd sink down. And I'm going to do a video on this, just what happens to it once it's been sat there for a year. And this was all of the old fruit prunings that we cut off last year. Remember when you helped me with the cage?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all they were. They were all shredded, and now look at it. It's just like mud now already. Yeah. Like so. But again, it's just been stored here. And what happened is, as you can see behind me, I've got all of the garden waste from where I've cleared the beds just stacked there because these were all full. And they'll all be processed now into new compost, which will go down there. But I haven't done it yet because I need to refurb those compost bins because the plastic on there is starting to deteriorate. It's been there since, well, 8 years. So I'm going to renew that before I fill that up. So in the beds, starting here, we've got green manures. This was really late sown, and I think we must have had some of the birds get on it and pull out some of the seed. But
Still a decent amount though, isn't it?
yeah, some of the other beds are much better, which we'll see in a moment. And this is field beans and hairy vetch, and I haven't mixed them this year because I'm doing a trial on the root systems of these, so I want to keep them separate. And I'll show you the hairy vetch at a later point. So this section is all new. There used to be a fence along here that used to grow sweet peas up, but of course with the trees getting bigger now, I've taken that out and we've just put a bed in there. Taunton deal needs to be cut back, and I'll take a load of cuttings off that. But again, you can see the green manures in all the beds here. Under here, I've got cow manure. So there's about 4 tonne of cow manure there that will end up on the gardens at some point. And there's 21 tonne bags of leaves there that'll be shredded, and I've got a new toy to play with for that.
Something about you though, you always seem to find everything, don't you? Manure, bark, wood.
It's called hard work, Danny. It doesn't just appear on my plot, mate.
I don't know where it all comes from, honestly.
Well, that's days and days of me going out collecting leaves. The manure, you know, I've sourced and it gets delivered here and what have you. It's just being stored here at the moment. So I got a bit of bindweed to come off the manure last year, as you can see along here. So I've got to dig this section out completely. That's why there's nothing being done here at the moment. So this will get dug out. There'll be a new path reinstated there, and then the rest of that'll then be growing. But I want to make sure I dig it all out first. New IBC down there to go with the other 21 that I have. So we've got 21,000 litres or 5,500 gallons of water now. Rainwater is much better than tap water, as you know. So, and they've been strategically placed. They're all linked up via pipe, so I can send water from one to the other at any point. And they've all been placed so that they can look after a certain few beds, so I can automate the watering. So like that one up there will do that top of the plot, this one will do this bit, there's one over there that'll do the bottom, this one will do this section, you know, so it just makes watering much easier. And if I do want to hand water, I can just dip in there and I'm not having to walk miles to water something because my garden's quite big.
Yeah.
You know. Again, more green manure. As you can see, the sprouts have been bashed. We had a massive storm come through and I didn't stake them, and they weren't the best anyway this year. And same with the kales. They've had a hammering over there. So, but we're in a good place really. For the garden is pretty much sorted along there. There's a new bed going in up alongside that IBC there. So that's where the sleepers are for over there.
You just made me carry them up now.
Made you. Along here, there's been a big project going on with this shed. I'll explain that in a minute. But along here, I'm just finishing up the cold frames. So I'm dismantling some pallets for this bottom shelf that'll go along here. All right. And then we'll get the fronts of that sorted out. And that's a good area then for putting in the, you know, the brassicas and things like that to harden them off, you know. And unfortunately, while I've been doing that shed, everything's been dumped in there, which is a reason why I've not grown anything this winter on purpose, because I know I had all of these projects to do.
That's the handy thing about a tunnel though, isn't it, Tony? You can use it in winter and use it for storage and works.
We'll get to the fruit cage in a minute. So this was the project that I've been doing. It's all now one building. This was falling down. It was the last of the structures from when I inherited the plot. It was falling down, and we've now created a good usable shed, which is nice and strong, and it's got a new roof on it. It incorporates the cold frames and the shelving that's behind, so it's a good solid structure now. Another IBC here to go on the bank. Over there we've got 4 IBCs, which they feed this tunnel. And along here we've got all shelving where we keep stuff. There's a new roof up on the shed. I just got to put fascia and move the guttering and stuff like that. And we've got 5 IBCs here and a new one to go next to that, so it'll be a bank of 6 IBCs. This is all the roofing that I took off that shed, so it's had a complete new roof, and that's just sitting on the old potato stands at the moment. But that's good. Poultry need a good cleaning and what have you because of this rain.
These bowed out, Tony, had to reinforce it, the
caravan? Yeah, so what happened was there's so much weight in there, especially when it's wet, that they bow out. So what I did, let me see if I can find it for you. Where is it? Up here. There is a timber bar there, see it?
Yeah.
All right. So all I did was run a couple of timber
Just to hold the sides
things just to hold it in together. It was just so much weight, and really, I mean, this is not that strong. The tin sheeting does all the work.
Yeah.
But it does the job now. They're perfect. Like I said, I had some awesome carrots and things out of there this year, so it's been great. But as you can see, bindweed has got around, so I'm having to dig it out. The poultry, they covered over at the moment, but they've had a lot of water get in there, so I've got to get in there, dig that out and put all new bark chip down for them. But they're fine at the moment.
Put all that in the compost heap then?
All that'll end up in the compost, or it'll probably end up in that new bed I'm going to build over there with the sleepers. I got another sleeper here which got to go over there at some point, but that's only a small one, so I can manage that on my own. So these are all the fruit trees, like all the ones down the garden down there, plums, pears, apples and things like that. Again, the ground's being used as a bit of a dumping ground. And then the fruit cage continues right the way down here.
The full plot fruit we built it. Was it last year?
Year before, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, year before.
It wasn't too bad to build though, was it?
No, it was easy to build, and like I said, what we had left off that, I built that brassica cage down there. So, and you know, it's an ideal thing because you know, you can get in them.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've got a bit of bramble and stuff that's creeped in.
Yeah.
But I need to just get in here now, clear out. It's easy with bark chip down anyway.
Yeah, cool.
So so that's all good. And then we come down here. So all of this has all been replaced now. This wall. If you remember when the doorway used to be here, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it was a whole glass building. You saw the mess on it before. So so that's good. And then this path is pretty much cleared right down.
The tunnel fared with all the wind and all. They've been all right.
Yeah, tunnel's been good. I think the plastic that Northern Tunnels give me, I mean, I rolled it the wrong way, granted, but look at how brittle this has got.
Yeah.
Look at that. So this plastic couldn't have been UV stabilised on the actual curtain, and the same happened on the other side. I had to take it off.
I remember that last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I've got new plastics for them. I've just got to take them off and get them on. I gave this a good clean the other day in the rain. I got absolutely drenched. Yeah, but you know, so we've got a few little jobs still to do. But I'm in a good place really when you think about it, Danny, because you know the garden is done. You know, come sort of April, May time now when I want to start putting things out, all I've got to do is just cut down the green manure. The root systems will stay in the ground because they'll put nitrogen and things back in the ground, and then all the top growth will just go into compost. Now, a lot of people say dig it in and this, that and the other, but I'm no dig for most of my garden, if I can help it. So I always just hoe off the top, and then I'll just plant straight through that. So it's my new book, Simplify Vegetable Gardening, and it's being published by Cool Springs Press, which is part of the Quarto Group. And this one is quite important to me because I've dedicated it to my grandfather who started me gardening in the first place, and it's been absolutely beautifully designed by the designers from Cool Springs. And literally the whole book, in fact we'll go through some of the chapters here. So the first chapter is growing importance of vegetables in the first place, a perfect trio, nature, science and you, optimizing plant growth, optimizing plant health, optimizing plant nutrition, vegetable gardening groups. So rather than telling you how to grow kale for argument's sake, I banded everything into a group, or you know, into this sort of 16 groups, and we talk about them as an overall thing. I find that's a much better way of managing that. And then we just go through some of the other things, a bit on composting.
Sometimes you'll have a how to sow cabbages, but how to sow cabbages is
the
same as how to sow kale. So
yeah, exactly. So but like there are recommended, as you can see, look, NPK fertilizers and stuff like that for each group. The tables, we talk about the diseases within them. So basically everything you need to know, the mustard family, look, so everything you need to know about each family is in here. Parsley. So this is coming out on February 16th. It's available for pre-order now.
I'll pop a link in the description.
Yeah, I'll give you a link on that. We talk about composting in here because you know I love composting. But you know the book as well, as you can see, the quality is just absolutely beautiful. Nice thick pages, glossy pages, and I got to say that Cool Springs Press have really done me proud with the quality of the book. So I'm really excited about this one coming out. So Simplified Vegetable Gardening, folks, you've got to go and get one of these. Pre-order it now, and you'll get your copy then for the 16th. And yeah, just good.
So I'm meant to be just pop an hour or so, come over, put our wrongs to rights. Tony showed me a little bit more about the live streaming and all. We're now going to have another cuppa. Here he is, right here.
Accidentally went live.
Accidentally went live. So thanks for having me, Tony, as always.
It's all right. You're welcome, mate.